Today we'll make a pen and its lid using Blender. So to start with, delete the cube using the X key on your keyboard and add a new cylinder. Go to Create, add cylinder, and scale this down. To scale down, press S and make it smaller. Or you can also go to Tools and Scale. And I'm going to rotate this cylinder by 90 degrees along the y-axis so that it's easier to work with. To do that, press R followed by Y and 90. That looks good. And now I will scale it along the x-axis to make it longer. So S followed by X and make it long. Okay, I'll actually stop, make it 2.5 squares long and duplicate this so that I can use this duplicated cylinder to make the cover or the lid of the pen later. So to duplicate this, I will press Shift D and I have a different cylinder here, so which I'll keep it here for later use. I'll go back to my old cylinder and scale it by X and make it longer again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.5. So I think this should be a good length. Let's see. Yeah. Maybe a little bit longer. Nah, I think this is good. So we can now go to edit mode and zoom in to the end. Pan a little bit and so that you can see this face, and press A to deselect everything. And I want to select this circle of edges. To do that, I'll press the middle Q button here and press the Alt key and select by right clicking the edge. So now my whole face or all of the edges are selected, and I'll extrude and scale to make it look like a pen tip. What I'm doing is I'm looking at an actual pen to make sure what I'm creating looks like a pen. So first press E and followed by S and scale it down a little bit to reduce the circumference of the circle. That looks good. And extrude, press E and pull it outward. Let's see how this looks. This looks fine to me. And again, you can look at the face, extrude, and followed by S. Scale it down again and extrude. And extrude, scale, extrude. The same amount of length and scale it to make it look like that, and extrude. Again, scale it a little bit. That looks good. And extrude. Wait, let me go back. So here I'll extrude and scale again to reduce the radius. And extrude here. And scale it down a little bit. And we're arriving at the very tip of the pen. So we will extrude again. Actually, undo that, Control Z or Command Z. And extrude and scale it down a little bit. Then I can extrude and scale and E and S and press Alt key and M. After that, so first press E and S, scale it down a little bit, and then press the Alt key followed by M. this will allow you to merge all of the points at the center. So select at center. So now you can see that with the tip of the pen. So what we want to do is we want the tip of the pen to be colored different from the rest of the pen. To be able to do that, we have to separate this object from the whole pen object. To be able to do that, let's view it using the front camera and pan it down a little bit. And I'll zoom in a little bit so we can see the tip. Go to wireframe, press B, select this. I would actually like to select this part also, so I'll press Ctrl Z, B, and select all of those edges. So now press P on your keyboard to separate it by selection. So now you can see that this is a different object. If you go here, we have this, which is a completely different object. So this is still in object mode. So we can go to solid, and maybe let's go to material. So I'll show you that this is a different object by translating. Yeah, you can see that this is separated from the main object. So Ctrl Z to put it in place, and go to let's make this color blue. So we have a blue pen. To do that, go to materials, add new, go to cycles render, so you have the color menu. Go to cycles render and go to surface, use nodes, go to color, we'll make this blue. That looks good to me. What color blue do we want? Okay, so we have the blue tip, and what I'm going to do here next is I want to make the tip a child to the pen, so that when I move the pen, the tip moves with the pen. To do that, I'll select the tip of the pen, and then I'll select the whole pen. So it's important that you select the child before the parent. Parent here is the big pen. So I select the child, select the parent, and Control P, and it says set parent to object. So that's what we do. So now if we want to move the pen, the whole thing moves and it doesn't leave the tip behind. So we'll zoom out, and I'll zoom in again. Pan. I also want to make a little blue end to the pen, add a little blue end. So I'll go to this other face here. So to be able to do that, I'll have to just select this, go to edit mode, and Alt, select the circle, extrude scale, scale it down by a little bit, and extrude. Right, so I'll set this to wireframe so that I can select all parts, view, front, and it's better if we make it orthographic. There we go. So make it B, select B, and use this to select all of the edges there. And now I have to separate it again so that I can add a different material to it. To separate it, press P, separate by selection. Right, so we can now go to object mode again, and just go to maybe material and just select the cylinder, go to material, add new, add color, add this blue, looks great, zoom out, see the tip and the edge match, And now next thing I want to do is I want to make this pen a little more gray. So I'll go to material, add a material color, and it's a little bit gray. Yes, that looks good to me. So next thing we want to do is now I want to take this pen and take this cylinder and turn it into a lid of the pen. And to do that, let's go to edit mode, probably solid, and zoom into this. I'll go to perspective camera here. Zoom in. And I'll make it rotate 90 degrees so that it's more easy to work with. To do that, rotate, press Y, R, Y, 90, enter. So here I want to add some loop cut and slide so that I can have the faces I can extrude. So I will do loop cut and slide here, go all the way to the top, and loop cut and slide all the way to the top. I think that looks good. Now we can go to orthographic view and go to faces, select faces there. Go to front view. Let's go to back view so that the pen is at the back. Alright, so zoom in, pan so that you can see this. Select 3 of these faces, shift, right click, and right click. And now we want to extrude this, but before that let's view it on our right. Pan so you can see it better. So press E and extrude this. That looks good. Extrude this a little bit again so that we can rotate it. Rotate it, press R and rotate it downwards so that we can extrude it in that direction. So there. Now extrude, press E again and extrude this. I will undo that because I can't see well, and I'll undo the rotation again. Let me rotate again. That looks better. Extrude so I can see better now. And extrude. Make it a little bit shorter than the pen. So there we go. There we have the lid of the pen. And we want to make it hollow, so we'll select this point or this face here and delete the face. To delete the face, go to your left, delete and faces. So now this is hollow and this is the lid to our pen. But the problem here is this looks very thin and it looks very 2D. So we'll go to materials and add modifier, go to solidify, add thickness, make it 0.1, and that looks good. Yes, and now we'll add material to it, make it look the same blue as our pen. So we can go to object mode and maybe select materials so that we can compare the blue, and add color, go to blue. Looks a little too dark. Okay, I think that is close enough. Alright, so there we have the pen and the lid. Another thing I want to do is, before we forget, make sure this tip and is a child to the pen. So to do that, select the end of the pen and shift, select the pen and press Ctrl P. and parent to object. So now we can move the pen without having to worry about losing these tinier objects. So now it is ready. So what I want to do next is I would like to rotate this vertically. Let's rotate all of this. R90. Okay, let's go to perspective projection. So another thing I want to do, let's make this vertical. Okay, so now I'll translate this and I'll add a plane here. Create a plane, scale it by 5 times, S and 5. That looks good. So what I want to do next is, let's move this a little bit. Not that. This. Tools, translate. Select that. Translate. And I'll rotate that. Rotate Y90. So as you can see, the pen looks like it's lying on the cover looks like it's lying on the plane. So I want to add a texture to the plane. To do that, I'll go to materials, I'll add new, and on the color, select this button and say image texture and open. And I have this image file on desktop that I'll load onto the image. And now I can go to compositing view and go to edit mode and go to mesh, UV unwrap and unwrap. So that is my plane that's unwrapped. And I'll open from my desktop the same file that I have, and let's zoom out a little bit so that I can see it clearer. So this is something I want on the plane. So it looks as if our pen is what wrote the alphabet. And to do this, I'll scale our plane accordingly. So let's try scaling our plane in the x-axis and see how that changes. Okay, that is perfect. So go to this window, press G so that you can move this around and place it where you place the unwrapped plane where you want what you want your texture to look like. So if you go to texture mode, you should be able to see, yes, what it looks like. And we can go to default view now. Default, so it's the opposite, so let's just rotate it in the Z direction. So R, Z, and 180. There we go. So take the pen and select the red arrow, move it there. So you can see the pen is not aligned with the plane, so I'll view it in front view so that I can see how it looks, and go to orthographic so it's accurate. So if you want to see where the plane is, it's right on the red line, I think. So let's see. It is not, so I'll put it on the red line there, and I'll put this also on the red line, touching the red line. Probably rotate it a little bit. There we go. Rotate it a little more. Okay, and let this lie on the plane as well. There we have it. There, that is our final image. And we can render this, or we can look at the rendered image here to see what it looks like. That is what it looks like right now. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video.